Western tanks have repeatedly become headline grabbers on the front lines. So today we've handpicked the most jaw-dropping tank battles and breakdowns for you. From Leopards, Challenges, and Abrams to captured T-80s and Poland's battle-hardened Twardy, these beasts are here to show what real power looks like. Get blown away and tell us in the comments which one's your top pick. Let's roll. The branches are smacking me in the head a bit. Army TV is visiting the 47th Mechanized Brigade Magura today. We've got a full unboxing of Uncle Sam's armored beast, the Abrams M1A1. The guys will tell us about the pros and cons. There are always cons, and how this tank is straight up a nightmare for our enemy.
The Abrams is an American main battle tank. The M1A1 is well known. Its biggest strengths are its accuracy, its excellent stabilization, and its maneuverability, despite its heavy weight.
Does this one have that depleted uranium armor?
Unfortunately, our version doesn't have that kind of armor. That's its biggest drawback right now. So, as a crew, and as a battalion, the number one thing we'd ask from our American partners is dynamic armor. So we'd have protection not just on the sides, but also on the turret. That would increase our survival rate. This is American ARAT armor. It does the job. If an ATGM hits it, like a cornet or something, it generally works and absorbs the hit. The Americans also have a second layer of armor for this spot. It looks like tiles. It even works against tandem warheads, and it can go on the turret too. Yeah, we're asking.
A bit of goggles is enough.
Just a few days ago, we were handling various missions assigned by command. We're hitting both infantry and vehicles. The last one that stood out, we finished off a T-62 that had been stopped by an FPV drone. We rolled out and just finished it off. It's not going anywhere anymore.
Some US media wrote that the 47th pulled all their Abrams back because they weren't being used effectively.
Yeah, I saw that. Total nonsense. Don't let the enemy get their hopes up. It all depends on the situation, you know? We don't just do tank versus tank battles. If that were the case, a T-72 wouldn't even stand a chance next to an Abrams. The reality is tough. Russians have more troops, more gear, more everything, so we have to adapt. These tanks are meant to roll up and smash enemy vehicles in direct engagements.
And the rounds, are those the cool uranium ones?
Yeah, it has armor-piercing rounds with depleted uranium. They're great. Pierce through armor cleanly. We'd really like more variety from our American partners, especially high-explosive fragmentation shells. That'd let us handle more mission types. It's got thermal sights, both for the main gun and the .50 cal commander's machine gun. This tank is made for fighting both during the day and at night. The thermals work well, but keep in mind, the enemy's adapting too. They hunt us at night just like during the day.
These are tears of joy. From being the first journalist to ride in an Abrams? Kidding. It's just the wind, actually.
I'm the gunner. I aim, lock on, and fire.
Did it take long to learn the system?
The first time I saw the inside coming from a T-tank, I thought it'd take a month to learn it all. But actually, it's super fast. You can learn it in a week. This here is the Cadillac. It's for turret rotation. T-tanks rotate like this, but in the Abrams, it's like this. I had to retrain my muscle memory. Not this way, but that way. Here's the gunner's seat. The Cadillac is the turret control. This moves the turret. This adjusts the elevation of the main gun. This is the main sight. The Americans call it the GPS. Here's the thermal sight. If all the electronics fail, we use a backup optic. You can select shells, zoom levels, different operating modes, emergency, normal, manual. Nothing too complicated, really. The main gun is a 120mm smoothbore. Effective range up to 4 kilometers.
Automatic transmission. We trained on it in Germany at a NATO base.
So you drive it like a scooter? Wow. They say the frontal armor isn't great. How does it feel on real missions?
People say it's the strongest ever. Zeus himself couldn't break it. But unfortunately, that's not true. We've faced major Russian assaults, rolled out to stop them. Was it successful? Sure. We ran right over those guys. If we had to go on foot, not so successful. It took a hit from a Lancet drone. Singed a little, but she still runs. It hit a tree, not the tank. If we were doing tank-on-tank battles, this would be the best model out there. But right now, it's not that kind of war.
Do you close this up during combat?
Nah, you can drive like that, but you'll get a concussion. The gun will still fire even if you don't seal it.
Not super comfy for you though, huh? How's the visibility from inside? For you as the driver?
Good, but only straight ahead. That's why we always go forward.
What's your top speed?
Last time I hit 65 kilometers per hour. You could push it to 72, but only downhill.
This drill's called Goodbye Knees. The first Abrams tanks arrived in Ukraine in September 2023. That was 31 vehicles. But for them to operate effectively, the proper protection systems had to be set up. Dmytro, the commander of this Abrams, shows us what was upgraded first.
So right here along the hull, you can see ARAT reactive armor blocks. This is standard US issued protection that our American partners supplied. The tanks were fitted with it almost right from the start when they arrived in Ukraine. Now, what you see higher up on the turret and down by the driver, these little bricks, that's Contact 1 reactive armor. We welded it on ourselves, figured out how to attach and arrange it. A lot of Americans, and not just them, laugh at this. There are tons of memes about how Ukrainians slap contact boxes onto everything, from tanks to F-16s. Honestly, it's weird to see them mock it because we know for a fact, this stuff saves lives and protects our gear.
Dmytro says he's been in the war since day one of the full-scale invasion. He started his combat path in the Avdiivka direction. He never expected to become the operator of this monster, but fate had other plans.
This tank to me is like a sniper rifle after basic training.
He trained in Germany through a US-arranged program for Ukrainian tankers. The US provided both the tanks and the instructors.
One thing, this tank is heavy. Its weight varies depending on the modification and what's inside. Let's say around 65 to 68 tons. Russian propaganda loves to push this myth.
50-year-old scrap metal. A machine that absolutely can't move off-road.
Reality shows that's nonsense. For its weight, it's super maneuverable and fast.
The Abrams is a real nightmare for the enemy. It's designed with crew safety and battlefield efficiency in mind. Compared to Soviet-era tanks, it has many technical advantages. For example, thermal imagers and laser rangefinders.
The night and thermal sights here are way better. We can spot enemy tanks, BMPs, or APCs up to 7 kilometers away, and hit targets up to 4 kilometers out.
It also has a commander's panoramic sight, integrated fire control, and optical systems that give better battlefield awareness and accuracy. Everything is digitized, which lets it work as part of a bigger, coordinated battlefield network. The Abrams crew has 4 members. 3 sit in the turret. This is the loader's position. He grabs shells weighing about, wow, probably around 25 to 30 kilograms. The reload interval can be as short as 6 to 7 seconds. They might fire 7 to 8, even 10 to 12 shots in a row. That loader must be jacked.
We added grills, mesh, and also Contact 1 armor. When we first started using Abrams, the main threat was anti-tank guided missiles. Several tanks got hit by ATGMs. When we didn't have protection, a missile could destroy the whole tank. It would hit the driver's side and exit through the back of the turret.
After every mission, the tank goes through a full inspection. Rarely does a vehicle come back untouched. Mikola, call sign Zozulia, is a mechanic driver. Right now, he's helping fix this one.
It got hit on the left side. We patched it up, welded the damage. There was a dent, but thank God she made it back. This baby's been through 3 battles already. Took 3 hits, and every time's different.
Zozulia says they just need to swap out 2 ARAT blocks since their covers got blown off. And then the Abrams is ready to charge again. Despite all the debates over whether tanks are still useful in modern war, the people using them every day have a clear answer.
This is a seriously powerful machine, especially Abrams. When it rolls out for direct contact, trust me, the enemy is terrified, and it can do serious damage.
Thousands of destroyed Russian tanks speak for themselves. Ukrainians have not only mastered this tech, they've made it better.
Sneak in on soft paws, strike fast with sharp teeth, snap, and drag the prey off to the side.
We lost a tank. Where's the tank? Leopard went missing in the woods. Today, the guys will tell us about the 2 tanks they're using. First, there's the Swedish Strv 122, a licensed copy of the German Leopard 2A5, and they also have the Leopard 2A6. We'll get into the details, pros and cons of each in this report. They've been fighting with these for quite a while now, so they know how these beasts behave in real combat. The Swedish one, right?
Yeah,
So what's it packing? What makes it special?
it's got a few design features that make it different from the standard German model. The Swedes are more pragmatic. Even the fluids are standardized. You can pour the same oil into multiple components. The Germans? Every part takes its own oil. This one's got stronger armor, better crew protection, and the 2A5 is more tailored for actual combat, for storming positions. The 2A6? That one's built purely for hunting. The sides are practically unarmored. No side protection, no turret armor. It's a sniper tank.
What else does the STRV have? Night vision gear?
The Leopard 2A6 has better night vision than the 2A5, but both have more than enough. We're not in the desert where you can see 100 kilometers. Here, if you get 1.5 to 2 kilometers of visibility, that's amazing. Both tanks cover all our needs. Personally, I like the Swedish one more. The gun is a bit weaker than on the 2A6. That one's got more punch. But when it comes to handling Ukrainian terrain, the 2A5 is better suited. The 2A6, that's a gentleman. If you can say that about a tank, it needs asphalt, smooth ground, clean air. The 2A5's more of a working class machine, better fit for our climate and conditions, even if the gun's weaker. If it had the same firepower as the 2A6, it would definitely be the better tank overall.
We've gone into battle without them before. When we had to bail, we lost them. The mechanic hit the lever and we put them on without stepping outside. We couldn't get out of the tank.
But did it work out okay?
Yeah, it did.
And is it quick to do?
Quick enough, but in combat no one gives you time. We had to do it without them because we had no choice.
Can you do that with Soviet tanks?
On Soviet tanks it happens, but it doesn't work the same way. Yeah, Soviet tanks don't really lose shoes. This system's different. Easier to get the tracks on and off. Armor's decent, though it could be thicker. The gun's a 120mm caliber. We use both HE high explosive and AP armor-piercing shells. Both perform well. We're happy with the ammo. The tank's agile, has good speed. Reverse speed is way better than on any Soviet tank.
You can hit quick and back out just as fast.
It's got a rear-view camera. You can remove the periscope. The commander can guide the driver if he doesn't have eyes on something. Really handy.
So, what's the plan?
I'm staying in here.
You're staying? Gonna fight from the tank with the camera? Nice. A real combat cameraman. Can you stand up straight in there?
Even with the helmet on, you can stand tall. Plus, the armor can fit someone a lot bigger and broader than me.
What's your height?
I'm 1.77 meters.
And you're comfortable?
Yep, totally fine. You can see it for yourself. Look at that barrel length. It's the L/55 gun. It's 1.1 meters longer than the one on the Swedish tank. This gun's super accurate. If you do everything right, it'll hit the target on the first shot. That's what it's built for. The name Leopard says it all. It's a predator, a hunter. It moves quiet, fast, strikes, and disappears. That's the tank's whole style. It's a hunter, especially a night hunter. Everything about this tank is designed for ambush and strike missions. It's not for head-on trench fights or crushing enemy positions with brute force. The tracks, by the way, are rubber padded, made for stealth movement. It sneaks in on soft paws, pounces, bites with sharp teeth, drags the prey aside, and freezes. It's got excellent night vision gear, thermal and standard optics, both top-notch. No one even knows it's there. That's the essence of the Leopard.
Today on Army TV, we've got a special guest. Meet the German-made Leopard tank now serving in Ukraine's 33rd Separate Mechanized Brigade.
We first met the Leopard last year, in August. Big, heavy, tall beast. What is this thing? What does it even do? But we figured it out. From here, I command the crew. This is the commander's control panel. Right here, I can see what the gunner sees. Things like barrel temperature and other data. I can monitor the gunner. I can also take full control. Just press a button on the joystick, and the turret is mine. The commander's sight rotates 360 degrees. I can also see through the gunner's sight. I aim it roughly, and he fine-tunes it. His optics have more zoom. The commander doesn't have a thermal imager. The gunner does. I can switch my view to his sight and see what he sees. When I take over, I can aim and shoot too. But only the gunner has the weapon selector for the cannon and machine gun. If he's got one selected, I can shoot from my controls.
This here, we call it the Cheburashka.
Cheburashka?
Yeah, we call it that because it's all ears. Turn it right, turret turns right. Turn left, it goes left. Push down, the cannon goes down. Pull up, gun goes up. I aim with it. If the target's moving, I press the lock buttons for 3 to 6 seconds. The fire control system tracks it automatically. I can drive in any direction and the gun stays locked on target.
So I'm sitting on the heart of this tank, the engine. What kind of engine does it have?
It's a 12-cylinder diesel, but it can run on kerosene or gas too, though only in a pinch. If there's no diesel, you can pour in something else to get out of danger. It's got 1,500 horsepower.
Is the underside of the tank armored?
Yeah, it's a solid steel plate, fully sealed.
So how do you change the oil?
To change the oil, you have to lift that whole armor plate. There's a special bracket. We lift out the engine and transmission together, set it on a maintenance table, and work on it there.
You have to remove the whole engine?
Yep, the two main units get pulled out and set to the side for servicing.
And how often do you have to do this?
Every 10 fuel ups, let's say 10 full tanks of 1,000 liters each. Then it needs maintenance. If the tank's prepped properly, we can pull the whole module in about 20 minutes.
To get into the driver's seat, you can climb down through the turret, kneel down, and slide right into the driver's spot.
That's the driver's station. There's a steering wheel, high-low beam switch, turn signals, and controls for the first and second gears.
It's a semi-automatic gearbox.
Yeah, semi-auto. The lever over here, push up to go forward, pull down for reverse. We mostly use just first and second gear. Pull the lever toward yourself for reverse. Then rev the engine, turn the wheel, right or left, and the tank turns on the spot. But it's best to do that on hard ground. If not, you could throw a track.
How hard is it to get a track back on?
The folk method? Not hard at all. The official way takes more effort.
What's the folk method?
Basically, you slide these hooks under the sprocket in front. One link climbs onto another. Then the driver turns the tank left or right, depending on which side lost the track. You drive slowly, and the track pops itself back into place. The foreign instructors never showed us this. They didn't know it, never tried it. That's just something we figured out ourselves.
That's how our Ukrainian soldiers master foreign gear and adapt it to our conditions. I don't see any mangal, no cage armor or drone netting. Did you guys do any upgrades?
We've got EW electronic warfare jammers installed to deal with drones. And we added extra protection on the sides against shaped charges, all custom made by us.
So why didn't you go with a mangal?
We tried, but the design of this tank doesn't allow it. The turret and cannon don't fold down or compact in any way. Makes it impossible to drive into wooded areas with that kind of rig.
No autoloader in here?
Nope, it's all manual. I load everything myself. When the tank's moving, I have to hold onto the rails so I don't get thrown and lose a limb. We call this place Santa Barbara. Why? Because we've got all kinds of ammo stored here. Here's a heat round, high explosive anti-tank. Careful with the camera. This one's shrapnel, for infantry. It has 1,100 steel balls inside that scatter on detonation. And we've also got AP, armor-piercing rounds.
What did you do before the war?
Oh, I worked as a dispatcher at Volenoble for 14 years. Before that, I was an electrician for 3 years.
I used to work with wood, carpentry, windows, and doors.
Before the war? Yeah, I was a driver.
I used to drive a city bus, shuttle bus too.
So what's it like going from a bus to a Leopard?
Nothing too crazy. You get used to it.
Nothing bad about it. Actually, I like it here. Sure, it's scary at first, but after that first shot, the fear fades. Then you just want to shoot again, hide, and see what you hit.
Welcome to Army TV. Today we're talking about the British Challenger 2 tank, which is now in service with Ukrainian paratroopers. So, Vitaly, you seem to know everything about this vehicle, this tank. How long have you been working with it?
It'll be almost 2 years. I trained in Britain. Took a course there to become a commander of this vehicle.
What was it like in Britain? Did you learn English there?
I'd say the Brits learned more Ukrainian than we did English.
So you made them?
I think by now they know more Ukrainian than their own native language. This model belongs to the heavy tank category because it weighs 64 tons without extra armor. With the additional armor, it reaches 78 tons.
How fast can it go?
You can push it, but it usually runs at 45 to 50 kilometers per hour. It performs well in combat. My colleague hit a mine sideways in this vehicle. It survived a TM mine without issue. To protect against other threats, you need extra armor. FPV drone protection, like EW systems. Right now, that's crucial.
Your crew is made up of 4, right?
Yes, the crew includes 4: mechanic, driver, commander, gunner, and loader. For safety, the ammunition and charges are stored in separate containers. There was an actual fire in this vehicle, but the crew was fine because everything was isolated. Thanks to the L30A1 rifled gun, plus a separate night thermal rangefinder scope, its effective range is better than that of smoothbore guns.
So we talked about the gun, 120mm rifled. And there's also a coaxial machine gun here.
And also one anti-aircraft machine gun, manual.
So you have to stick your head out to fire it?
Yes, it's similar to the FN Mag L37A2, caliber 7.62 by 51mm. It's the only manually operated weapon on this tank. Everything else on this tank runs on electric systems.
Let's show the crew layout. The driver sits in the front beneath the gun.
On the left side is the loader station. On the right side comes the gunner. And up top is the commander.
So it's like a British double-decker bus, only it's a double-decker tank. Let's go in.
Even lower.
All right, this is the commander's seat. Am I kicking my favorite gunner?
No, but if he messes up, the commander can give him a whack. Or just tap his left or right shoulder to keep things quiet.
I'll note that the gunner has plenty of space to move around.
The loader station is this little triangle where he stands or sits. Behind those curtains is a safety zone. He's not supposed to leave it.
Ah, because that mechanism recoils during firing.
Exactly, and the recoil only activates the pyrotechnic charge.
The pyro charge gets loaded like a magazine, right?
Yes, that's the loader. And these are the magazines. Here's a magazine that holds 10 pyro charges.
So, this is the 120mm rifled gun's basic operation. It's similar to the 155mm artillery system. No shell casing. We load the shell and soft-packed propellant.
Yes,
And then the pyro charge ignites it all. The propellant burns up. There's no casing. Only the pyro charge shell flies back.
the ammo is on my right, under the gun. Stored in containers. Containers are locked and sealed. They hold 4, 6, or 8 rounds.
How many can you fit in total?
The full load is 52 rounds.
And the rate of fire?
Depends on the loader. The British record is 10 shots per minute.
So, 120mm rifle gun. I assume the Challenger only takes specific ammo types. Not interchangeable?
Challenger 2, yes. Challenger 3, Leopard, Abrams. The UK is moving to smoothbore guns to allow ammo sharing and larger supplies. But Challenger 2 still uses exclusive rounds. Also, the loader has an electric kettle and a multi-cooker. During downtime, our mom, the loader, can make us coffee or heat up food.
And this is the toilet, right?
Yes, the bathroom. Under the loader's seat, or near his work area, you'll find the toilet.
How does it work? Where's the drainage?
No drainage. You place a bag, do your business, and toss it out through a hatch. It's like a studio apartment. Has everything.
You've got to be careful climbing out, not to kick your lovely gunner. And even though the loader handles heavy shells, look how much room he has. Let's check out the driver's seat now.
Here's the driver's seat. Driver's station, control panel, his instruments. It's like in an airplane. We've got 2 levers for control. Semi-auto transmission, 6 forward, 2 reverse. I'm currently in driving position. Let me set it up for combat mode. Now I'm in combat mode.
Wow, almost lying down.
The driver operates lying down in combat. It's comfortable. If he can't see something, we've upgraded with modern video monitoring systems. We can also add our own cameras for better driving visibility.
It's warm in there when you drive, right?
If I turn on the heater, yes, it's got both heater and AC. So you can warm it up or cool it down if needed. This machine is built for the crew, not just numbers. Everything's top quality.
London was one of the first to agree to provide Ukraine with heavy equipment. They showed real commitment. Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov also tested the British Challengers.
It's marvelous when Secretary of Defense of the United Kingdom. It's a very good stuff. Thank you very much from Ukraine to United Kingdom.
Maxim trained on the Challengers in their homeland, the Foggy Albion. And even though he can't reveal all the specs, he never stops praising the tank.
We don't get through the turret front. The Russians have no chance breaking through the turret front. Let them try from the side. They won't get in from there either. The laser sight hits targets at 2,000 meters with an armor-piercing shell with ease.
Germany has also sent Marder IFVs. The US sent Stryker and Cougar armored vehicles. All this gear is headed to the front lines to crush the enemy. We already have videos on our channel about Challenger. Be sure to check them out if you haven't seen them yet. And if you want others to see this video, please like it. It really helps with promotion. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new stories. This is the PT-91, Poland's main battle tank. Since 2022, they've been handed over to the armed forces of Ukraine, built on the base of the Soviet T-72. Right now, the guys will take it for a short run, and then we'll ask them if it's better than the tanks they had before. Just had a short ride in the Polish tank. It's called the Twardy. Here's the commander of this tank. Hello, Artem. Dmytro, so as I understand it, this is a Polish version of the Soviet T-72. Tell me, what's different here compared to the Soviet T-72?
It's not a modification. The Poles built these under license. So it's basically the same as a T-72, only manufactured in Poland, not in the Soviet Union.
Any differences at all?
The differences are in the anti-heat protection, the armor. This was something the Poles specifically developed for these tanks. It's fitted very tight, small block, easy to mount, and you can cover the turret almost completely, leaving only tiny gaps. It's better than Soviet contact reactive armor, and the frontal plate can withstand a hit from a tandem charge heat round. So you've got two layers here, the Polish armor and the Soviet-style contact. The working principle is the same, but this is more modern. Polish designed, meant as a replacement. See? Only tiny slits. If a heat round hits there, yeah, it has a chance to burn through the side. Here has no gap. You'd have to hit that one exact weak spot, basically by accident. That's the kind of shot you only get if the crew really sinned in a past life.
I heard it also has some kind of counter to laser targeting?
Yeah, it's got a laser warning system. If someone hits it with a laser rangefinder or a guided missile operator locks on, the system detects the beam, swings the turret toward it, and pops smoke. It basically blinds the enemy. Any weapon that's laser guided gets its beam spotted, and the system throws smoke directly into that direction.
Smoke grenades. Big cloud. I guess there's 8, maybe 9. Here I see 12 on this side and 12 on that side. That's a lot.
Half of them are fired automatically by the system. The other half you can launch manually without engaging the system. The T-72 itself is an old machine, over 40 years old now. Tank design worldwide has moved way forward in that time.
These were made in the 90s, right?
Yeah, somewhere around 1993 to 1995, the Poles were producing them. 307. Basically, it's a combat-ready machine. Shoots fine, good caliber. The only thing is, it uses Soviet caliber rounds, not NATO ones. So they're not interchangeable. If you've been inside a T-72, you'll see almost everything here is the same. The main differences: optical sensors that detect smoke after a shot and automatically trigger the extractor fans, a thermal sight, and that laser warning system I mentioned. You can pop the smoke grenades manually, or you can switch on the automatic defense system, and it'll launch smoke in the exact direction of the laser hit without you touching a thing.
I see everything here is Polish.
Yeah. This system is Polish, that one's Soviet. I haven't seen anything quite like this elsewhere.
Do you guys put stickers on here with translations? Or are you already used to it?
Once you use it one time, you remember where everything is.
Right now, I'm sitting in the gunner's seat. Any changes here compared to the standard setup?
Only this block right here.
This one?
Yeah.
Is this also a thermal imager?
Yeah, same model, just a duplicate. Basically, there's one thermal sight up top, the thermal head, and the image is sent to two sites, two monitors, essentially.
And other than that, the guts are pretty much the same?
You mean the T-72's internals? Yeah.
So if we compare now, Russians have their T-90 ProRiv. They've got T-80s. How would you rate their machines?
Their T-90s are basically just a deep modernization of the T-72. They've stuffed a bit more electronics into them. They've got a similar type of laser warning protection system. But at the end of the day, it's still a T-72 under the hood. So they're not much better.
Right now, we're sitting in the Twardy, the Polish tank, and I can see everything's labeled in Polish. But the guys have taken a marker and added their own notes, so in the heat of battle, they can quickly see what to switch and where. You can see here, original Polish markings, and here, handwritten notes to make it clearer. Like here, on, off. That's how the guys adapt to working with it. But still, sometimes they have to sit with a translator open. Some guys end up learning Polish while in Poland. Others, like these crews, are learning Polish while sitting inside Polish armor, out here in eastern Ukraine. Have you learned Polish yet?
No, I just guessed some of the words. If I don't guess right, I ask the commander.
You know the engine here is better than on the T-72, right?
Yeah, it's more powerful.
And if we compare...
Horsepower. It's snappier, more responsive. Like, you're driving in 5th gear, you drop the RPMs, and it still keeps going forward. I've pushed this one up to 75 kilometers an hour, about 46 miles per hour.
On a paved road?
Asphalt. Yeah, 75 kilometers per hour on asphalt.
If we take the whole T-72 lineup, all the different versions, would you say the Twardy is the best? Or are there others you'd compare it to?
Well, I'd say... I don't know. Those Russian ones?
No, I mean strictly the T-72 family.
I think the Polish one's still better. It's Polish made. Give me 30 minutes with it, sit inside, test it, and that's it. I'll know how it drives, how to handle it. I'll take it out.
So it's not hard to learn?
Not hard. Sure, age plays its part, but still, I think anyone can learn.
What would you say to people who haven't been mobilized yet, but maybe dream of becoming tankers?
Join the 22nd Brigade, join the tank troops. If a guy has even a bit of a pull toward machinery, infantry isn't where he belongs. If he knows which end of a wrench to grab or has worked around vehicles, he'll put his energy to much better use here.
Here's the brigade's motto: with the sword of the Predator, we bring peace. What can you say about that? Does the sword bring peace to the occupiers?
Let's just say they're afraid of tanks.
That's the Polish Twardy tank and its excellent crew. Now the guys are heading for some rest before their next combat mission. Today, our mobile group dropped in on the tankers of the 117th Separate Mechanized Brigade. The guys work on a Polish PT-91, and this crew has just rolled back in from a combat mission. You just returned from the fight today. What stuck with you? Was it quiet, or did you have work to do?
Today it was quiet, which is good news. Means they weren't pushing in their usual numbers. Or we just weren't needed in that sector at the time.
As far as I know, this is a licensed version of the Soviet T-72M1, but built in Poland. Tell me a bit about the armament. What are you hitting the enemy with?
It's almost no different from a T-72. Same 125mm smoothbore gun, same PKT coaxial machine gun. I even have to take the grill off my sight sometimes because it gets in the way. So yeah, armed just like a T-72. The main difference is the engine. More tuned, more powerful than a standard 72. And the active armor, you can see yourself. This isn't Contact 1 or Contact 2. This is Polish armor they patented for this tank. They say it's better. It's got the Tucha smoke system, just like a T-72. But here there's fewer smoke rounds compared to ours.
How did you train on it?
We spent about 40 days in Poland, I think. The Poles were great with us, but we didn't understand them at all. Polish and Ukrainian are close, but still different. If they couldn't explain something with words, they'd just show it in practice. Stick in hand, pointing here, pointing there. You're going into battle. Learn. Some things you can't teach. How a man will act under fire, that's only proven in the fight.
What kind of targets do you usually work on? And what do you like hitting most?
Mostly infantry.
Infantry, yeah?
Yeah. They throw meat assaults at us wave after wave, crawling forward like locusts. So we hit infantry to shake them up a bit. If it's an HE frag round, perfect. When one of those lands, believe me, they scatter.
Do you name your tank?
No, we just call him Grandpa.
Grandpa?
Yeah, old man. He's an old-timer. And like any old man, he doesn't always want to fight. Always some reason. Radio's out, something else doesn't work. But when you live together long enough, you become one. You understand each other without words. Commander, gunner, mechanic, even without radios. Only with the driver, it's tricky without comms. You can't reach him. You'd have to guide him like reins on a horse. But with the gunner, just a glance is enough. He knows what you want, and you know what he's about to do. You watch through the sight. Now it's a bit easier. Drones have our back. They track you, feed you the coordinates, give you the azimuth, even the range. You get there fast, hit the target, and on 1, 2, 3, you're pulling out. She's got a good engine. You stop the throttle and she moves. No need to wind her up.
Quicker on the jump?
Quicker.
Best moment of a combat run?
The best? When you roll back onto base. That's the sweetest part. When you park her, commander says, shut her down, kill the main. That's when it feels good. You jump out, no matter how beat you are, the first thing is to call home. Call home and say, I'm okay, I'm fine.
Everything inside's marked in Polish, right?
Yeah,
How's that for you?
no problem for me. I can read it, even talk in Polish. Worked in Poland before. Big thanks to the Poles for giving us this machine.
Leopard 1 A5. Right now, I'm walking along the same course that Leopard 1 mechanics drivers use for their training. The track is 3 kilometers long. I'm heading to the starting area to get inside and drive it from inside the tank. Jumping into the loader seat. How do I lower the seat here?
Like this, press here.
Ah, got it. The commander sits right above the gunner. Is that so the gunner aims more accurately? So the commander doesn't have to correct him as much?
Yeah, and just in case, so the commander can smack him on the back of the neck right away.
On the commander's order, I've just activated the hydraulics and we've started the exercise. In the gunner's seat, you have to be super careful, because the gun is constantly swinging up and down right next to you. The commander asks if we'll make it through.
Let's go!
The key is to brace yourself with 3 points of contact: hand, foot, and whatever else you can. I'm good to ride. Turn off the hydraulics, just pull it down.
Yeah, pull it down.
So how much space is in here? For the loader, definitely enough. For the gunner, not so much, right?
Tight. I'm the driver in this crew.
How did you become one?
Officers selected us. One officer said, "You'll be the driver." And that's how it happened.
Were you against it?
No, I don't pick specialties. The specialty picked me.
What are your impressions of driving this course? What's it like driving your first Leopard?
Positive. Always positive. It's a really good machine. There's nothing complicated about driving this vehicle.
Had you driven any kind of machinery before?
A bicycle?
A car?
Nope. Don't even have a driver's license. Never driven one.
Tanks halted. Know why? If the crew makes a mistake, the supervisor yells "evac" and the entire crew bails out. That's just how the system works.
You got lucky, no evacuation happened. You saw the next crew? Every time they screwed up, they went through the full evac drills.
Tell us about the evacuation. What kind of system is it? Why do it?
It sharpens alertness for the whole crew. Evac means leave the tank, find cover, shut the hatches to save the vehicle. Once the evac's done, the crew comes back and the drill continues. So it's not just about driving in tough terrain, it's also practicing crew actions under evacuation. The faster they can bail, the better the odds they'll survive. We drill cohesion constantly, shooting, driving, maneuver drills. Each crew member must master their individual tank role and, crucially, their teamwork as a unit.
We're standing by the Leopard 1A5 now. We'll have a crew member walk us around the tank and show what's what.
First thing we added was anti-drone mesh, aka the grill. Made at the factory, but we custom cut and fitted it ourselves. The guys also added slat armor because the tank's old and wasn't factory equipped with dynamic protection. In today's war, with all the tandem charge rounds, it's essential.
With all that extra weight, did it bog down the road wheels or engine?
Nah, the engine can handle it. It's rated at 850 horsepower and can support an extra 3 to 4 tons no sweat. No performance loss.
This is the commander's station. That's a telescopic commander's sight. He can see out to 3,600 meters. It rotates manually and automatically.
We send the degrees here. See that scale? If I pop it up, you'll see it rotating. I can pan 360 degrees around the turret.
Now we're at the driver mechanic station. Here are the hatch controls. Open, close, raise. Heavy cover for protection. Unlike Soviet tanks like the T-64 or T-72, which use levers, this one has a steering wheel. The wheel turns smoothly. Steering's way easier than the old yank and twist levers. You just sit, turn, like in a car.
One advantage is mobility. The tank starts up fast and maneuvers quickly forwards and backwards. Soviet tanks like the T-64 or T-72 barely reverse. This tank was designed for agility and fire control precision. Not heavy frontal assault like Abrams. Its fire control system comes from the Leopard 2 and it mounts a rifled 105mm gun. The same sniper rifle, some call it. NATO still uses it. That rifled gun's accurate, long-ranging, with a solid thermal sight. Tactically, this tank hits fast and falls back. Designed for hit-and-run maneuvers, unlike heavy tanks with thick armor like the Abrams.
Let's talk specs. It's a sniper rifle of a tank, yet weighs in at 43 tons. What's Vadim doing now?
I'm placing a trench candle marker for night driving so we can see turn reference points and avoid them.
Candles lit. Night drive begins. Engines starting up. That growl sounds like an air raid alarm. The most intense moment's the launch, because you don't know how much the tank will rock, or if I'll even keep the camera steady on the turret. Here we go. So far, so good. You see the hull moving, but the turret stays dialed at 12 o'clock. Why night training's vital?
Because it's a whole different game. At night, nothing's visible except instruments. But if daytime markers are memorized, you can navigate by them. And mentally, it demands sharper focus. You scan more, you turn your head more. That shot was near combat conditions. Hatches closed, no popping your head out. Commanders normally ride with their hatch cracked, but tonight it was a no-go.
Imagine you're one of the lucky few among 10 crews in the world carrying out combat missions in Swedish Stridsvagn 122 tanks. Fighting in such a vehicle is definitely an honor and a responsibility. But is it really better than the more common models? How does the Stridsvagn 122 perform in combat? And why are the Russians paying so much attention to it? You can't talk about this tank without mentioning the German tank industry. Because the Stridsvagn 122 is a licensed copy of the German Leopard 2A5. In the early 1990s, the Swedish Army decided to abandon the development of its own main battle tank and purchase a foreign one instead. There was a competition, and the winner was the German Leopard 2A5. It was then modified to meet Sweden's needs, and that's how this unique vehicle came to be. By the way, unlike the Germans who named their tanks after predators, the Swedes didn't care much about naming. The Strv 122 project was simply called the tank. That's how Stridsvagn translates from Swedish. Still sounds intimidating if you don't speak the language. And once the full-scale Russian-Ukrainian war began, the Strv 122 and Leopard 2A5 met on the same side of the battlefield, creating a unique opportunity to compare them. The Swedish one. I personally like it better. At first glance, the combat characteristics of the Swedish tank aren't that impressive. The Strv 122 is heavier, more expensive, and its 120mm Rheinmetall gun with a .44 caliber barrel looks inferior to the Leopard's, but that's just at first glance. There's nothing better in the world. The Strv 122 has several advantages over the Leopard that are especially important in Ukraine's combat conditions. Let's start with maintenance. Ukraine's armed forces operate dozens of Western vehicles, each requiring special treatment. You'd think these 10 Swedish tanks would complicate maintenance and logistics even more, but actually it's the opposite. The Swedes are more pragmatic, even down to what technical fluids are used. They're standardized. You can pour the same stuff into different components. The Germans? Every component needs its own oil. Here, it's one type for everything. The armor is stronger too. The crew has better protection. The next advantage is the armor. The Swedish tank weighs a full 62 tons, which is 3 tons more than the Leopard 2A5. But this isn't due to design flaws. It's thanks to upgraded armor. The Strv 122 has one of the best armor systems among all Leopard 2 variants. It's equipped with additional armor modules on the turret roof for protection against cluster munitions and top attack rounds. In other words, this tank is well suited for the realities of the Russia-Ukraine war with its FPV drones. The armor is based on Germany's MEXAS system, but strengthened with Swedish modifications. The design of the Strv-122 tank was adapted for combat in environments with lots of forests, rough terrain, and the risk of mines. So the slightly higher weight of this tank shouldn't really be considered a drawback, especially considering that the Leopard 2 A6 already weighs the same as the Str-122. However, in some aspects, weight still matters.
Leopard crash.
In terms of maneuverability, the Leopard is better. It's no secret that both tanks use the same chassis. The Rank H SWL354 transmission and the MTU MB V12 engine with 1,500 horsepower, but the STRV got a reinforced running gear. Specifically, strengthened shock absorbers and torsion bars, modified suspension to account for the extra weight, and crew seat dampers to protect during mine blasts. These changes were made for better endurance in the harsh conditions of Northern Europe and due to the mine threat. That's what makes the Swedish tank a bit less maneuverable. Before we jump back in, quick shout out. Want to support the channel and get some cool perks? You can become one of our dearest sponsors. We've got 3 levels. You'll get early access to our videos, and we'll make sure to reply to your comments first. Plus, you'll get personal shoutouts, just like our recent legends, Ranked Scrub, Albert Grimes, and Dryfrog. Huge thanks for the support. And the best part? Top-tier sponsors get access to exclusive content, like unfiltered stories from International Legion fighters. Raw, brutal, but seriously inspiring stuff. Now let's talk about a classic Swedish feature, crew comfort and care. We already saw this in the CV90 video, and the STRV-122 is no exception. The Swedes also have this funny thing, a multi-cooker. No way. Yeah. Where is it? Right here. I can't pull the whole thing out, but here's the pot. You can pour water into it. Really? Yeah, and the Germans don't have anything like that at all. So that's how it compares to the Leopard. But what about the tanks it fights against? Even though its gun is technically weaker than the Leopard's, the STRV-122 can still easily destroy Russian tanks in battle. Due to design features, Russians need to fire a so-called warm-up shot to heat up the gun. Meanwhile, the Swedish tank can hit its target with the first shot. There were 2 cases where, from 3,800 meters, armor-piercing sub-caliber rounds hit a T-72 with the very first shot. First shot, wherever the sight is aimed, that's where the shell goes. The rounds for this sniper are Swedish too. For example, the SLPRJ M95 armor-piercing round with a tungsten core. It's designed for increased effectiveness against modern armor. Uniquely, in the US, this type of shell usually has a depleted uranium core, but the Swedes rejected that option for environmental reasons. By the way, Sweden once had its own nuclear program, but like Ukraine, gave up its nuclear weapons. That's a topic for another video. Impressive combat success with just 10 tanks speaks for itself. Russians are actively trying to destroy these Swedish tanks, mostly in their propaganda. Russian media claims that the occupiers burned all 10 of the tanks Sweden gave Ukraine. Well, here it is, safe and sound, one of those 10. According to open data, these tanks have survived at least 14 hits from various weapons, and only 1 was destroyed. An unknown number were abandoned due to damage. But even damage to a tank like this is a serious loss. Ukrainian soldiers are doing everything they can to protect their vehicles. They came stock, just as they are. That's how we got them. They were getting pierced easily. So we started buying metal ourselves through volunteers, welding it on. There, on the back, are the remains. We welded it ourselves, bought it ourselves. Then Ukrainian armored factories came and installed Contact One for us. That's the anti-drone cage. Russians were the first to come up with those, right? Everyone used to laugh at them. Ukrainians, Europeans, Americans. And now everyone's using them, even on Israeli tanks. And these upgrades pay off. Even saving one tank is worth days of work to make it safer. Of course, sometimes even the cage doesn't help, and a direct hit forces the crew to abandon the tank. But in most cases, it's effective protection. About these cages, we've seen them save us from Lancets, FPVs, ATGMs, everything. Yeah, sometimes it just depends on luck. While the cages work well, the tank's standard armor also holds its own. This tank was hit by Russians. Where did it hit? On the right side. An anti-tank guided missile came in here, and everyone came out alive. Maybe the crew had to operate during the day, which made them easier to detect and hit, because at night, the chances of spotting and hitting a Strv-122 are much lower. That's why one key difference between the German and Swedish tanks is how they're used. The German doctrine is to shoot from a distance and only target vehicles. They're more maneuverable, and they believe they can dodge and use carousel tactics to speed things up. They think they won't get hit, but that's not true. Despite using similar components, the night vision device is better in the Swedish model, and when combined with the Barracuda camouflage system, this tank becomes unmatched at night. There's nothing better in the world, but for a specific task, it's a night hunter. It has a powerful thermal imager, a powerful night sight. It's built to spot the enemy before the enemy spots you, and to fire the first shot before they do. But both tanks have one trait that really annoys the Russians: how quiet they are. The Leopard and Strv-122 are so silent that there are even Russian claims that Leopard 2 crews don't even need to start the engine to quietly shell Russian positions. Of course, that's pure fiction. Still, no Soviet tank, including the T-80, can match their low noise level. But history could have taken a different turn for the Strv-122. These tanks could have become much closer than just targets. Fun fact: in the 90s, Sweden actively experimented with Soviet equipment. One of the candidates for what became the Strv-122 was the T-80. For testing, the Swedes received a T-80U. Trials lasted from October 1993 to January 1994. Compared to the older Strv-103 and Strv-101, the Russian T-80U was, in the Swedish military's opinion, better in terms of mobility. During the 3 months of testing, both trial machines reportedly never broke down. However, in terms of firepower, the 125mm gun on the T-80 didn't offer an advantage even over the existing Swedish tanks with 105mm and 76mm guns. Additionally, it turned out that the T-80U wasn't adequately equipped for night combat due to poor electronics. So, as a night predator, the T-80 clearly didn't make the cut. Overall, the Strv-122 is performing very well on the front. But to preserve these machines, they need to be used according to their intended role. It's ideal for night hunting in wooded areas, like its German sibling. But the Swedish tank should avoid frontal daytime assaults and close combat. If it just had a more powerful gun, then yes, it would definitely be better than the Leopard 2A6. This is a unique tank that deserves attention. But for now, the German Leopards have the advantage in numbers and versatility. Despite its superior tech and crew protection, the Strv-122 serves more of a support role, while the more numerous Leopards are leading the battlefield charge. It's definitely a great machine for the Swedish army, but considering the scale of the war in Ukraine, 10 tanks aren't nearly enough to make a major impact. Still, Ukrainian tankers are getting the most out of this small unit and taking out the enemy. What topics should we cover next? Drop your ideas in the comments. We'll choose from the most liked ones.